I have never in my life been denied financing so fast. I mean, I was denied financing within like 65 minutes. Like, I didn't even finish 2 episodes of SpongeBob and whammo, like, they told me to get my poor broke ass the hell on out of there. Wow, it is much harder to get an RV loan than I ever thought it was. In today's video, we're gonna dive right into it. Now, for those that don't know me, in 2020, I purchased 3 acres of raw land. I mean, nothing on it. Right after that, I bought the Den Outdoors cabin kit and built what I think to be a beautiful tiny A-frame cabin. I've loved it. I've listed it on Airbnb. People enjoy staying in it. Well, it's a few years from that, and it's time for me to expand on my land. I have a lot of different options. I could build a yurt, I could build a bell tent, I could build a dome, but I decided I wanted a tiny house. The reason I wanted a tiny house is because it arrives just done. There would be no build process. I thought that would be amazing. Also, the kitchen, the bathroom, everything's inside of it. Now, when giving advice on tiny homes, I always tell people to buy tiny homes that are considered certified RVs. Now, with that opinion, I said some things that were right about it and some things that were wrong. Some of the things that I said that were right is that it's so much easier not to have to deal with the build process. It's also much easier because the bathroom, the kitchen, everything arrives already done inside of the tiny home. On top of that, certified RVs actually have a standard of build quality that they have to be built towards. Meanwhile, most tiny homes don't. Like, there's actually no rules. It's a lawless land. Just hide your kids, hide your wives. They're getting everybody out there. One of the things that I said was wrong about buying a tiny home is that it's easier to get a tiny home that's a certified RV because it's much easier to get financing. I learned that the hard way. So I'm getting a tiny house, I decided. Well, I reached out to the tiny home builder who builds a certified RV tiny home. They put me in touch with the bank that they work with. I said, sure, great, I'll have no problems. I have never in my life been denied financing so fast. I mean, I was denied financing within like 65 minutes. Like, I didn't even finish 2 episodes of SpongeBob and whammo, like, they told me to get my poor broke ass the hell on out of there. It was so weird. Ooh, this is So me thinking that, hey, maybe this is just like a small bank that probably doesn't want to give RV financing anyways. I went to some other banks and I started doing more information. And what I learned was kind of shocking. Most banks do not want to give out RV loans. And the reason why is if there's another recession or a dip in the economy, you're going to pay your necessities first. You're going to pay the roof over your head, your house, your phone bill, your internet. Let's be honest, that's a necessity in this day and age. You're going to pay your car. You're going to pay all those things. The last thing you're going to pay for are your recreational items. And RV stands for recreational vehicle. You're just going to be like, yeah, bump that. I will pay that last. And that's what they're worried about. They're thinking about if poop hits the fan, the first thing people are going to stop paying for are their RVs, which I guess honestly kind of makes sense. So that was issue number one I had with trying to get an RV loan. Issue number two, I've worked for myself for the last 2 years. Turns out banks really, really, really don't like that. You've probably heard that to get a mortgage and that type of stuff, there's special paperwork to fill out if you work for yourself. You had to have been working for yourself for X amount of time and made X amount of money to get X amount of home. Now, with RVs, it's much different. And to be honest, they just don't care. They're like, they don't want to hand out that loan in the first place. And on top of that, you work for yourself. That's sus to them. Now, I know what you're thinking about as well. Hey, j.esperance, maybe your credit is just crap. Like, just admit it. And to that, I would say, if I was still 18, that would be true because I was just swiping back then, just swiping. But my credit is actually much more than decent. Like, I'm sitting kind of pretty with my credit. So what's the deal? Now, another thing that banks were telling me when I was reaching out and they shot me down was last year I purchased a car. So it's very recent. I started my glamping business only owning a little Mini Cooper. I said, I need an SUV. I need to actually be able to store things inside. So I bought a new car. That's also why I felt so empowered. I'm like, yo, I know my credit is good. I just bought a brand new car. Like, let's go. Let's move this along. Well, for them, it's like this. It wasn't the fact that I just bought a brand new car that scared them. It was the fact that I haven't made a lot of payments on that car. Obviously, I haven't made a lot of payments because I make one payment a month and I just bought it last year. But to them, my payment history for like credit cards and other necessities, yeah, that's important, but they want to see how I do with recreational items, such as a car. Remember what I was saying that when poop hits the fan, your recreational things, the things you don't need, are the things that are going to mean the most to them. So, what they wanted to see is that I had a super long history of car payments because, again, those recreational items mean the most to them. Well, I don't have that. I actually don't like playing the credit game. As you guys know, I purchased my land outright. I built my cabin outright. I do all of my things for the most part, just cash on hand. I don't play the credit card games. Well, the car I purchased before my last car, I bought it cash. Well, here's the problem. I have little to no history of paying car notes because I never have before, other than the most recent car I purchased last year. Every car I have owned before this most recent car, I paid for cash, straight up, drive off the dealership. I own it. Now, at the time when I was doing that, I thought I was flexing. I thought I was being so fiscally responsible, but it bit me in the butt years later. The first time I want to play this credit game and get a nice loan to help me buy the RV of my dreams, the tiny house of my dreams, well, they're like, nah, you don't have enough experience, which is crazy. Another odd thing that I was going through as I went through the loan process with a few banks, I obviously didn't go through too many. I didn't want that many hard pulls and dings on my credit, was the applications were pretty sparse. They didn't really dig in to learn more about me. I'm talking about like sending in more paperwork, them asking a ton of questions to get the full scope of who I am as an individual and where I'm at in my life financially. Most of these RV loan applications were like 10 to 20 questions, filling out a super fast form online that could be done within about 20 minutes. I didn't have to have any extra paperwork on hand or anything like that. They just pulled my credit, asked me a couple of different questions, and that was kind of it. I'm almost certain that if a bank would have stopped and took the time to look at me as an individual, they would have realized, like, I mean, let's be honest, these RVs aren't that expensive, and the price you pay per month isn't that expensive either. Like, I thought this wouldn't be a problem at all. Like, I thought it was comical. I thought we would be done, real quick, but that's simply not the case. I don't want to ramble. I just wanted to share my experience of what went down when I went through the process. I'm certain that there's a lot of people smarter than me out there in this world. So if you have some advice, I'm all ears. Please do let me know what you think I should do down in the comments. If you have tips for myself or anyone else in the community, if you own an RV, please do leave advice down in the comment for everyone going through these types of processes. So I have 3 acres. I built a tiny cabin. What's next for me? Will I build a dome, a yurt, a tent? Obviously, I'm in the market to get another structure on my land. Well, I'm happy to say that I don't have the answer to that just yet. So stay tuned and, we'll see what I actually do end up decide to build on my land. Thanks for checking out the video. I'm sorry that things didn't go my way and this video is kind of somber, but I just wanted to put it out there, be transparent with you guys, and let you know what's really going on out there. Peace.